I feel like I woke up with more gray hairs this morning than I had yesterday. So as we have been busy picking up the pieces of our hope after the Democrats took a hammer to it, Bone Spurs has been ridiculously busy. He pardoned 76 of his buddies yesterday, including Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, John Eastman, and Kenneth Cheeseborough, and a host of other friends. Now they say that this pardon is for the 2020 big lie, and all of the people who were a part of that, filing court cases and going on the news to tell untruths, they have all been pardoned. Now the thing is, this pardon is a pretty blanket pardon. It is a full, complete, and unconditional pardon. And it doesn't say what specific crimes these people are pardoned for. Now that may actually be important when I get to this next bit, because reports are saying now that Mike Grinder Johnson is finally going to swear in Adelita Guajalva. She is the 218th vote on the discharge petition to force a resolution to the floor for the House to vote on the E-Man files. Now, the thing about the E-Man files is more reports has come out that the E-Man files are even worse than what people thought they were to begin with. People expected them to be bad, but even insiders in the FBI are saying that it is even worse than they thought it was. And they are even saying that they are trying to shield some of their coworkers from said E-Man files because they are so bad they're triggering people. Midas Touch had somebody investigate this, and I have a bit of what she said that I'll be posting to the end of my YouTube and my Substack videos. So follow me over there if you want to catch what the Midas Touch investigator said about those files, but it's pretty bad. And it makes me wonder about the timing of these full, complete, and unconditional pardons that Bone Spurs has been handing out. And one of the reasons why I say that is because these pardons are federal pardons. Federal, blanket, full, complete, and unconditional pardons for federal crimes. The people who are being prosecuted for the big lie, they are being prosecuted in specific states. Federal pardons doesn't do anything for state crimes. So people are calling this more ceremonial or just performative pardons, but I don't think so. I think that the people who he has pardoned, at least some of them might be found in the files that are soon to be released. Because the timing of Mike Grinder Johnson finally caving on getting Adelita Guajalva sweared in and the appending signature that she is going to provide, as well as that vote in which now the Republicans who are hearing the insider reporting from the FBI are like, look, what the heck is in these files? They are going to also be voting to release the files. So Bone Spurs, who already knows what's in those files, he knows who is in those files. And he pardoned 76 people. Some of them are solely to do with the big lie. And that's fine. But I think that they're a cover for the other thing that's going on. The other pardons that people are going to need. And he did them all at the same time so that people would think that they're just for what happened in 2020. When I don't think that that's the case. It is very possible that Giuliani is one of those people in that file. And now that Giuliani has a full, complete, and unconditional federal pardon, I ain't saying nothing, I'm just saying. And on top of all of that, if that wasn't bad enough, if you were still somehow ready to give this administration the benefit of the doubt when it came to their treatment to people who we know were involved with E-Man and that whole situation, look no further than Maxwell in that cushy prison camp. Apparently, homegirl has been living it up. According to emails that she sent herself, Maximilian is feeling like $1 million, feeling as if she has fallen into Alice in Wonderland's looking glass, because her life has staunchly improved. Reports are saying that she's getting preferential treatment from the warden. The warden is helping her to get documents, orchestrate meetings, locking down the inmates so that she can have private meetings in the chapel, allowing her to go and exercise at night when there's nobody else there, and allowing her to shower when everybody else is closed down in confinement. She's getting her meals served to her in her dormitory. And if anybody complains, they are hit with retaliatory action. There was one lady that Midas Touch talked about named Julia Howells, and she was probably one of the first to speak out to the press about how people did not want Ghislaine Maxwell there. Soon after she spoke to the press with her name, they not only took her from a training that she had just been selected for to attend, but they took her out of the camp completely and put her in a higher, more harsh security camp in Houston, Texas. Now, she was there to serve a 12-month sentence for theft. Maximilian is there serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking and SA crimes. But Maximilian is being treated like a guest at a resort, waited on hand and foot by the warden, who is locking down inmates when they're supposed to be having their recreational times outside, locking down those inmates so that Maximilian can have private meetings with multiple people in the chapel. And apparently she is also preparing her paperwork to ask for clemency from Bone Spurs. Homegirl is living it up. And all of this is happening after Todd Blanche, Bone Spurs' former personal lawyer, second in command as the Deputy Attorney General to Pam Bondi, he met with Maximilian. Not too long after that, reports of her getting a mysterious box delivered to that prison started circulating. Then a day after that, she was moved to that cushy camp where she's not supposed to be because of the crimes that she committed. This is how the Bone Spurs administration treats their P3POs. Apparently, the warden is doing all of that based on orders straight from Bone Spurs, because Bone Spurs and Maximilian were friends and still are. And now she's preparing to ask for a pardon. I wonder if she'll get it. Tell me again about Hillary's emails and Hunter Biden's laptop.
One source described hours and hours of videos of yacht parties and photo shoots and massages of clearly underage models, countless pictures of men unknown to them. I asked. They said they didn't recognize many of them. With photos of them with nude underage girls and models. Videos, just hours and hours. This week, a reporter named David Schuster revealed that multiple Republican House members have heard from their contacts at the Department of Justice and the FBI that the Epstein files are actually far worse than previously thought, that they're worse than the alleged photos of Trump with nude girls that Michael Wolff reported on, the ones that Pam Bondi refused to deny the existence of during her congressional testimony, far worse than that. And that at least 100 House Republicans are ready to vote yes on the release of the Epstein files, not the discharge petition, but the vote that would follow. They want to vote yes so that they can get out ahead of what's coming. I've spoken to multiple verified sources on the condition of anonymity that actually participated in the review of the Epstein files this past March. And I can confirm that what's in the files is much worse. I wrote it up this past July on Substack, and I reached out to my sources again after this news came out from David Schuster. I can also confirm through sources, again, who wish to remain anonymous for fear of retribution, that the files were accessible to multitudes of FBI and Department of Justice personnel because of how they were stored. There was a lack of permission control. Everyone had access in those units. Trump, Bondi, and Patel actually did this to themselves through their carelessness with securing the files. In fact, my sources say they're actually surprised that this hasn't gotten out to Congress sooner. What FBI and DOJ personnel saw was so devastating that some broke down while reviewing them, many having young children the same age as the victims, many being survivors of sexual assault themselves, all being kept in the building on lockdown, not allowed to leave, and forced to sift through mountains of evidence and testimony, photos and videos, all in the name of Kash Patel's pet project, part of which some believe was to politically target the survivors themselves. Many felt they had a duty to protect their coworkers from seeing the contents. And many believed they had the duty to protect the survivors from retribution. And with all the FBI and Department of Justice eyes on these unsecure files, it is no wonder Republicans in the House with contacts in both of these agencies are aware of the full scope of the content of the files and how many times Donald Trump appears in them. We know he is. Pam Bondi said he was.